Okay, I guess I'll just have to welcome, as we are here, the 10 of us, and welcome to our City Club Breakfast Committee monthly programs that are educational, and we do learn a lot. Just pay attention, go get your cup of coffee or tea right now so that you don't miss the wisdom of our presenter James here today. So welcome, and we're happy to have you here and continue to learn.
Thank you.
Great, and I'll just share a little bit about who we are. The Breakfast Club at City Club is a group that helps entrepreneurs and corporate executives grow their business through education and networking. We host thought-provoking educational forums like the one you are about to experience today, where entrepreneurs and corporate executives can gain knowledge and insight on trends that impact life, business, and community. And we provide a dynamic working environment in which to grow your business relationships. We are the committee here. I'd like to introduce you to our immediate past chair, Mr. Vernon Webb. We have Mitch Woolley. We have Gary Martinez and the lovely Denise Anthony. And I am your chair, Carmen Torres, and it's a pleasure to have you join us this morning. And I'd like to turn it over to Vernon, who will be introducing our speaker today.
Thank you, Carmen. Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce our speaker this morning. James Shea is the digital marketing Jedi of the City Club LA and CEO of Cybertegic, a marketing agency located in Los Angeles that specializes in the strategic execution of online marketing using Google and Yelp marketing to help businesses grow online. James is highly passionate about supporting local small businesses with his knowledge of digital marketing and is currently an active board member of City Club LA's Business Alliance Committee and the Asian Business Association of Los Angeles. He is a regular guest speaker on local television and radio shows, educating small businesses on the use of the latest digital marketing tactics to grow their business. Prior to establishing Cybertegic in 2000, James worked at Nestle as an e-business project manager and successfully launched several online business ventures for Nestle during the boom of the dot-com era. As a seasoned practitioner of digital marketing and a big nerd of the technology by heart, James enjoys helping businesses grow through the innovative use of online marketing and internet. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the smartest and coolest nerd I know, James Shea.
Thank you, Vernon. That's such a nice introduction. Thank you. Thank you. And before I begin, I like to get to know my audience. Since we're such a small group, I like to tailor my presentations particularly to you guys, so you guys can get the most benefit out of it. If I may, can I ask what profession you're in, what type of business you're in? Just very quickly, go around and help me understand. Mitch, I kind of know what you do, but go ahead and let everybody know.
I kind of like do digital marketing also, but yeah, I mean, our focus is small business, $1 to $5 million revenue. Okay. Let's go to Carmen. I'm just going to call them out in the order that the tiles are on here, so we don't lose track of everyone. Carmen.
Great. Hi, everyone. I have a human resources consulting firm where we help business owners with all of their compliance and employee needs. Thank you.
Denise?
I am with Western Resources Title, so I work with the residential and commercial title people getting their title insurance.
Title insurance, great. Okay.
Thank you. Vernon?
My name is Vernon Webb, and I am an executive performance coach. We help small businesses and professionals to think differently, thereby increasing their income and solving some of their most perplexing problems.
Thank you, Vernon. Kathy?
Hi, I'm Kathy Mitchell, and I'm working in finance actually at Universal Engineering Services. I'm interested in this presentation though, because I'm thinking about branching out and doing some entrepreneurial things. So I wanted to learn more about marketing and strategies, things like that.
Great.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Michael?
Hi, I am a video producer based in the Boston area, and I am also the author of an upcoming book on powerful video marketing.
Great.
Very cool.
Great.
Thank you, Michael. Claudia.
Claudia Shea from the Small Business Development Center, and we help small businesses in LA County. I specialize in Spanish speakers, and I do a lot of the Google My Business for them and social media and marketing. So that's my specialty. But in general, we help Spanish speakers here in LA County. So
Great.
Thank you, Claudia. And Irma.
Irma Hopkins. I'm a real estate consultant with United Real Estate here in Beverly Hills.
Great.
Thank you, Irma.
Thank you, Irma, for being here.
Real quick,
great.
James, before you get started, guys, if you do have questions or something like that, just put them in the chat box, and I'll kind of slip in those questions for James so he can answer them. That way, James, you don't have to worry about monitoring the chat box at the same time. We'll watch that for you.
Got it. That would be
Okay.
awesome.
All right, cool.
So from what I've heard so far, most of the people in here are in the professional services. So I'm going to tailor my presentation for professional services and actually use you guys as some of the live example I'm going to be demonstrating. I have a lot of slides today, so bear with me. It's going to be a crash course on local marketing and using Google and Yelp. So just bear with me, and I'm going to make this as entertaining as possible since we're early in the morning. I don't want people to fall asleep. All right, so let me share my screen and get this thing started. Okay, here we go. Okay, Mitch, can you see my full screen okay?
Yes.
Good. Okay, then here we go, guys. Like I said, I have a presentation that's 56 slides, so please bear with the Jedi. I'm gonna fly through this, and if you're missing some of the important information, you'd like to have a copy of this slide, just at the end of the presentation, shoot me an email, and I'll send this thing over your way. Okay. So I think Vernon did such a wonderful introduction. You guys all know that I used to work for Nestle. And I'm a fighting Trojan, USC MBA year 2000, and by heart, I'm a big nerd and a big Jedi. Okay. I run a digital marketing firm, and we specialize in Google and Yelp advertisement. We also do social media advertisement too, but mainly our strength is in Google and Yelp. Okay. We're Google certified as well as Yelp certified, which is the two basic more important marketing channel that we use to focus on helping professional services and e-commerce type of business market online. Okay. Why these two channels? Today I'm going to dive into this and explain the power of Google and Yelp so you understand whether you are a local professional business or your e-commerce business, these two channels are the ideal and very powerful channel to use to grow your business. Okay, now as a marketer, bear with me here. I'm going to explain. We all understand there's a very important purchase decision process funnel. This is what we call the funnel. All of you, including me, we get influenced in terms of our purchase decision by the things that we see, the advertising material we get exposed to. All right. I'm going to run you through an scenario. You're on Facebook, checking out your friends, and suddenly you saw an ad for a nice shoes that you're interested in buying. But at such a moment, you're not going to take any action because you're just browsing your friend's information and you're not in the mood to purchase. Then, towards the evening, you were watching some show on YouTube and suddenly that shoes showed up again for some miraculous reasons and then caught your attention twice. It's beginning to build awareness to you about these shoes and capture your attention. A few days later, you found yourself thinking about that shoes. You really like it. So what do? You go back to Google and you start searching. and trying to understand that shoes and look it for, and maybe even on Amazon to see where you're gonna buy that shoes. Right. Now you're in the research and consideration phase. Right. Eventually, when you decided to buy that shoes, you either buy it from Amazon or you could look from Google or the manufacturer's website and purchase them directly. Right. And once you get the shoes, you wear them. It's great, and you become an advocate of such a product. This is the final stage where you become you exhibit advocacy, and then you start promoting the shoes. So this is the purchase decision process. And if you look through this process, from where you become aware of the shoes to where you become an advocate, Google and Yelp and many of the advertising channels plays an important part on these channels. But Google, being the monster of advertising, covers many of the steps in these channels. Okay, so today one of the main topics is to talk about Google, how to use them. And then I'll talk about local marketing in terms of Yelp. Now, why Google? In 2019, there's 62.19 billion visits alone on Google. You know, if you take the Earth population and you divide by that number, it's about one person will visit Google at least 7 times. But we know we all visit Google a lot more time than that. Google dominated the search engine market worldwide. 92.7% of the people use Google versus the other search engines. Google is a huge advertising empire. It controls YouTube, Google My Business. But did you know that it also has its ad appear on over 200 million websites? Websites such as LA Times, such as E-Trade, they all feature Google's ad. So one of the secret force I want to teach you today is search engine optimization. This is the technique of how you could get your website to rank on top 10 of Google for free. Then you'll be getting free traffic coming to you. Okay. So as you guys all know, this is a simple Google page. Okay. There's a pay-per-click ad. There is the Google Shopping ad. And then there's the SEO organic listing. But for today's demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to go to Google because we have a lot of professional services people. So I'm going to go to Google. And I'm going to search. I'm going to use Pasadena Realtors. So everybody get an example. What a modern day Google look like. And known to the trained eyes, Google's constantly changing how they display their information on their most primary real estate, which is the first page on the upper fold. Right. We now have what we call Google Screen for professional services people. If you're advertising with Google, you want to get on this space, okay, and be Google Screen professionals. So whether if you're like Carmen, you're an HR professional, or you're in like Mitch, you're in digital marketing, you want to be here. And Vernon, you're coaching, you also want to be up here as well. On the second part here, you see this is advertising. This is what we call the pay-per-click ads. Okay, you pay, you get up here. Right? But this is a very expensive way of advertising in Google. You had to have your digital marketing company really spend your money carefully and on the right keywords, because the keywords are very expensive nowadays. Following that section, this is what we call the local pack, the map pack. Okay? If your customer is from local area, you want to appear in this area. But however, you see that Google only shows 3 professionals. So if you rank number 4 or less, you don't show up. So it's very important that you understand how to do SEO for the local, what we call local SEO effort to get onto the top 3 of these sections. Then following this section is what we call the natural listings. This is where there's about 10 positions in this place. And if you ranked here, you get a lot of free traffic without having to pay anything. So, I want to share with you how to go do SEO, what we call the general SEO. Later on, I'll talk a little bit about local SEO as well. Okay. Now, why is SEO important for online businesses? A lot of businesses don't understand this. But there has been research done over the years. SEO has been around for at least 20 years. I started as an SEO before I ventured into PPC and other digital marketing. But over time, people have done research and found out that SEO actually generates the best return among all the advertising channel, for the reason that when people see that Google is willing to rank company in their top 10 of their listing, they believe Google algorithm have done their job to filter out all the not qualified company, and they only list the qualified company in the top 10. So there's a lot more click into the SEO section, a lot more trust and conversion happen on the SEO listing sections. Okay. So if you're look at this list, SEO outranks email, PPC, PR, direct mails, online media buy in terms of return on investments. Okay, so now here's a secret sauce of SEO. It's actually very simple. I'm gonna simplify this thing for you. There's only 4 elements of SEO, right? But although the principle is simple, I still ask you to hire a digital marketing company to help you with this because there's a lot of work involved. Right? The 4 elements of SEO, which I'm gonna go through, is that first one, please optimize the basic. When I say optimize basic, when you create a website, ask your web design company to make sure they put in the title tag, the meta tag, to help Google understand what each page is about clearly. I'm going to demonstrate to you what I mean by the tags in the back end. This is our website, Cybertegic's website. You see the words, the message in the front, but Google also, besides seeing this context, it sees something else that you don't see. I'm going to hit F12. You can try this with your website on your Google browser. When you hit F12, you see the programming code in the back end of this particular page. And within these code, two very important tags. One is called the title tag, and one is called the keyword, the description tag. Google reads those tags to understand what your page is about. Okay, now I know this is getting a bit technical, but just remember this. Fundamentally, when you're designing your website, or if it's already designed, please ask your web design company to make sure each web page's title tag and the description tag clearly describe what your services is on that page. All right, so coming back to the presentation, optimize the basic. This is very easy to do. The title tag is 1 sentence. The description tag is probably another sentence or 2 sentences. Just make sure your web design company put that into each of the pages. Second thing is, please make sure your website is mobile friendly nowadays. Because if you look at the research, it shows that 92.1% of the users across the internet now use mobile phone to access your website. If your web page is not mobile friendly, you're losing out on a lot of opportunities. Your web page should be loading in less than 3 seconds. That's the attention span of the young people, and including me. I'm not that young anymore, but I only have 3 seconds of attention span. Okay, and then I bounce out if the page load too long. Good content. All right, this is a very important part. In order for you to rank, Google has to look at you as the authority figure in your industry. So let's just say Vernon is an expert in terms of coaching. Right? When Google goes to Vernon's website, Google wanted to see that Vernon has a lot of good article written about coaching in order to verify that he is an expert in the industry. Okay, so if your website doesn't have a blog and you want to do SEO, create a blog and write an article once a month if you don't have that much time. But if you really are serious about SEO, you could hire a digital marketing company to write at least 4 articles per month, and then you're gonna end up having 52 articles per year. Okay, and then you'll be way ahead of your competitions. Lastly, link building. Okay, this is basically the PR effort for your good contents. Once you write your good contents, you wanted to do link building to let other websites and other people out there know that you have such a good content. And when Google sees the link that's coming back to your site, Google will start ranking you. Lastly is social media. I'm sure you guys are all aware of this on your own end. Make sure you have good reviews, good ratings on Yelp, on Facebook, and so on and so forth. Right. But I can emphasize enough. Among that 4 important elements, everyone, content is king. This is the only way Google can know what kind of knowledge you possess and how good you are. So make sure if you want to do SEO right, you want to rank in top 10 of Google free, you constantly write good content. And if you're busy, you don't have time, this is why you hire a digital marketing company to help you with. So the way of SEO Jedi, follow what Yoda says. Okay. Now, the principle that I taught you, the 4 important elements of SEO, is the exact principle that we've been executing for many of our clients in the past year. And I'm going to use actual example to let you see that we have a page on our website where we list out the ranking that we have achieved for our client. So for example, wholesale silver jewelry, you click on this, you rotate back down to the natural listing section. Sending import is indeed our clients. Oh, Amazon's telling me I need to buy stuff. Okay. Coming back here. Okay. Korean ginseng, which is a client that asked us to rank them on ginseng. And if you click on this Korean ginseng company, we worked on their campaign for about 2 years, and we were successful in getting them into #1 position under, I think this is best Korean ginseng company, okay, and many other keywords. So the principle and the methodology works. What I teach you works, but it takes effort and time, okay. Minimum SEO effort takes at least 6 months to 12 months, which I'll show you in a different slide. But like I say, it show you in the ROI chart. If you have the patience and to invest in this, you'll get the best return for the effort. Coming back to the slide. Okay. I'm going to show you a case study. Okay. This is actually one of our clients who believed in us well, first of all, they believe in SEO. So 15 years ago, they contracted us for SEO. And with their investment over time, as of last year, I want to show you what the return they're receiving on their SEO investments. So if you pay attention, this is a time period comparing 2020 to 2021. And these are revenue generated purely from their SEO campaign, organic listing. In 2020, they did about $53 million from SEO, organic search. In 2021, they did 72 million. Okay, so SEO does work, but it took them a long time investing, like I said, over 15 years investing in SEO to get this kind of return. Of course, this is one of our big clients. Most of the clients won't achieve this kind of revenue, but I just want to use this example to show you that the potential of SEO marketing. And as I mentioned, you have to have patience with SEO, at least 6 to 12 months, in order for you to start seeing the keyword to rank and then to see the return. If you're in a very competitive industry, it might take longer. Okay, it might take at least minimum 12 months for you to see returns. Okay, now local SEO. Okay, what is local SEO? Let's come back to the example I was showing you guys. So this part we all talked about. This is a natural listing where you only have 10 positions. Okay, local SEO. If you're a professional in the professional services business, you're in HR management, you're a financial advisor, you're a realtor, you're a digital marketer per se, local SEO become important to you. Where I mentioned Google Screen, you want to be list up here. Okay, you want to be listed in the local map pack here. Okay, and the way to do this is through Google My Business. So you gotta go on and claim your Google My Business account, fill all your information, optimize your listing, and then do some of the SEO things I just talked about up there. Okay. So local SEO, some of the statistics for local SEO, why is it important? 28% of all local searches end up in a purchase, most of the time when we search locally, guys, whether it's for restaurant or even for a realtor, we end up, we're much closer to the purchasing funnel because we have a need. So we're now searching for somebody near us to help us with. So local SEO is quite powerful if you're in the professional services business. Okay. We talked about local pack. Now, what I didn't mention to you guys was this. This part is natural listing, but there's also advertising that you could do in this part in order to get yourself into the top 3 positions. Okay, so if you're not seeing yourself showing up in top 3 right now, you can consider advertising and at least get up there until you can do the optimizations and then get yourself listed up there. Okay, so this is what an ad looked like. Okay, and then without an ad, this is what the Google local pack looked like. Okay. We do local SEO for clients. One of our clients that we just took on last month was called Isabella Fine Jewelry, and their key was engagement ring. They have a store over in Huntington Harbor Mall over there, and according to our research in our tool, when we first take on their project, we took a quick look around their ranking around their proximity areas. In their own city, they rank number 1. But as you venture out 1 mile in each city, in each direction, you could start seeing that their position is dropping across multiple cities. Okay. And like I said, if you're below 3, you're number 4, you actually don't show up in the local pack. Okay? So we've been entrusted with their campaign to bring their ranking up in multiple cities around their store areas. This is our own local SEO campaign. I just want to show you what it's supposed to look like. So when you first take on the campaign, okay, your ranking might not be up there, but once you start doing local SEO, you should start seeing your ranking positions across the city across the city in your own city and across the city around your city. Your ranking should be climbing. The number in this graph are showing what the position of your keyword ranking in those cities. Okay, this is what a local SEO successful campaign should look like after a few months of executions. Okay, so that's Google's Google My Business and how to get your local SEO ranking up there. Now I'm going to talk about Yelp very quickly because, like I mentioned, in the purchasing funnel, Yelp is also a very important channel. Okay, I'm sure all of you use Yelp to either look for restaurant, look for plumber, look for flower shop. But did you know a lot of people are also using Yelp to look for lawyers, look for realtors, financial advisors? Okay. Yelp in 2019, Yelp have over 100 million people unique visitors. This is not counting multiple, but unique visitors visited Yelp. That's almost 1/3 of U.S. populations. There are 205 million reviews posted on Yelp by the end of 2019. We all use Yelp to look up review for somebody to see whether they're trustworthy, that we should be contacting them for business. Like I mentioned, Yelp is not only good for restaurants, for retail stores, but it's also good for realtors, mortgage brokers. As a matter of fact, we have quite a few mortgage brokers asking us to help them advertise on Yelp. Okay. Plumbers, hairstylists, insurance agency, lawyers, personal injury lawyers, so on and so forth. Okay. If you're in the professional services, you definitely want to look into Yelp and see how many people are searching on Yelp for your area of business. Okay, now how do you use Yelp? Okay, here's the truth. Even though there's natural listing on Yelp, there's 10 positions on Yelp that organic you can list. But Yelp's been very tricky. Yelp used to only have 3 advertisements on the top. Now Yelp has 10 advertisements on the top, and then followed by the natural listing, 10 of them on the bottom. So to be frank, even if you optimize the natural listing and you will rank number 1 on your natural listing, you're still number 11 because you're beneath the advertisement. So our recommendation nowadays is to just advertise on Yelp. If Yelp is important in bringing you a lot of traffic, a lot of good converting customers, just go ahead and advertise on Yelp. And you want to optimize your listing, meaning making sure your business information in your profile are standing out and that it captures attentions. Okay. Things that you can do to optimize your profiles, and many of these you have to pay for it. Like I said, Yelp just needs money, so it's putting more advertising space on the top. If you want to do call to action, you want to remove your competitors' ads, you want to control photo orders, you actually have to pay certain amount of fee in order for them to do those special feature for you. But then again, a little plug-in from us. We're a Yelp certified agency. If you go through a Yelp certified agencies, you might be able to get discounts for getting some of these features actually for free. Okay, so do consider go talk to a Yelp certified agency to see what they can do for you. Okay, so a very interesting research. Okay, if you just have free listings, which you're number 11, you probably are getting maybe 4 users views, per month. But then once you optimize your profile and have more information standing out and with their pay features, you now see the chart. You're going up to 37, views and potential 6 leads coming through. But if you do profile optimization plus advertising, the number of leads and the view that you receive will increase much more dramatically. Okay, this is Yelp wanted you to spend money with them, and then they will reward you by giving you leads in as well as customers.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
Real quickly, Claudia has a really good question. It says, my
Sure.
issue with Yelp is that the client gets a lot of bogus bad reviews, and it's so hard to prove that they're not legit, and the client loses credibility. I haven't seen much of that on Google. What are your thoughts?
Right. And Yelp, unfortunately, their review department, I gotta tell you, I'm not very fond of them. Their algorithm for filtering review is awful. Sometimes they filter out good reviews and keep the bad reviews on there. Right. Our suggestion and strategy to our client is, overpower your bad review with a lot of good reviews. Okay. There's going to be customer that, whether you do a good job, they still give you a bad review. They're just grumpy. Okay. But if you constantly, I'm sure you do a lot of, finish a lot of good projects, do a lot of good work. Just make sure those customers are leaving you good reviews. So you want to overpower your bad reviews with a lot of good reviews. We all understand sometimes when we see 100 reviews, we expect there's going to be 10% that's going to be bad reviews. As long as 90% says this is still a good guy, a good business, we go with it. Okay, so that's my advice. It's ask your good customer that you did a good job for. Just have them kind enough to leave you some good reviews, and then overpower your bad review with a good one. Yeah. Okay. So here's an example of the case study of one of our clients. Okay. And it's from a real estate industry. Granted that real estate is going through turmoil right now because of the interest rate hike, but in the past 2 years, it's been going gangbusters and doing really well. Okay. So here's the stats of Los Angeles real estate search. This is back in February 2021. Just apartment search alone, there was 280,000 searches in Los Angeles, and there was 93 buyers of advertisements. I'm sure these are property management companies that's buying up these ads. But there's a lot of searches on Yelp for all these services. For real estate agent alone, there was 65,000 searches for real estate agents. Okay. So here's a quick chart. I know this is a lot of numbers, so I'll walk through this with you. This client basically spent approximately about $2,600 in advertising budgets. And then each average click, we know these data because we pull this data before we do any advertisement from Yelp, and to see what the average click is, how much ads we can potentially drive for the client to their profile page. And then we look at the industry conversion. Like if we drive 150 people, what is the industrial conversion for the lead? It turns into a lead. Therefore, we calculate the number of leads that we can generate for the customers. And then from that point on, we ask the client, what's your conversion rate? If we bring in 41 leads, how many can you convert, right? From there, we do an estimate, okay? How much they can make in terms of their monthly revenue. And then we backward calculate and see what the return is. We do this because before we step into any campaign, we want to make sure that it will be profitable. If it's not profitable, if the number come out to be negative, we will tell the client, don't advertise, because in your industry it's too competitive. The cost per click is too high. It doesn't make sense to you. Okay? But in this case, this is a real estate agent in Chino Hill. We did the estimate, we did the forecast, and lo and behold, after 3 months of execution, the number of the return came out to be very close to what our estimate is. They basically spend about $2,600 and they generate about $24,000 in terms of commissions and revenue in their area. So they continue their advertising with Yelp. Okay. So this is an example of how you should be. If you're doing Yelp advertisement, you should ask your advertising agency for this kind of information, for this kind of estimate, and then give it about 3 months, let them test it out, and see if the return came out to be what the estimated forecast to be. Okay. Another case was from a personal injury lawyers. Okay. Also, a lot of searches in their area. Divorce. There was 50,000 searches just in Los Angeles area in the month of February. Immigrations, criminal defense, so on and so forth. We also did a forecast for them, okay, and then we executed the campaign for 3 months, okay. The results of the campaign after 3 months came out to be very close to what our estimate to be as well, okay. They spent about $4,000 per month on their advertising campaign, end up generating about $88,000 in terms of their revenues. So their return is it's quite good in their campaign, which is about 20 times their ROI. Okay, so that's it. I'm coming to the conclusions of my presentation. Is that Google and Yelp are very powerful channel, guys, in terms of generating leads and sales for you. Especially if you're a professional service business, you wanted to focus on using Google My Business for and to do local SEOs to get leads from Google My Business. Okay, consider advertising in Google's too if things are working out for you. It doesn't cost that much. But in terms of Google pay-per-click advertisement, that costs a lot. So you really want to have experienced professional to help you handle Google PPC if you want to execute on that aspect. In terms of the natural listing, the one that I mentioned about the top 10, it does take time, but you saw the return chart that I've shown you. If you have the patience and the budget and let it run for a long time, you will get really good return out of the natural listings section of Google's. Lastly, I share with you guys Yelp. Yelp is very powerful for professional services business. You do want to consider using Yelp to drive leads and drive traffic for you in that area. Okay. So with that, I conclude my presentation. I hope that I was able to share with you some of the secret forces of Google and Yelp and help you grow your business online. Okay, I'm gonna now go into the question and answer sections.
Thank you, James.
No problem.
Actually, the question that I have is, what has been the impact in terms of the pandemic? More people are spending more time doing things virtually as we do. Has that impacted how businesses are able to function in terms of generating new customers using search engine optimization?
Yes, that's a very good question. During the pandemic, we see a quick shift and large shift of people to go online and search for product and services. That's because we all been tied down at home, but nowhere to go, but still things have to be done. So the search volume jumped greatly. Even Amazon recorded record earning. But then now that you see that the pandemic is over, it is coming down a bit. Okay. But you have to consider now, we are a creature of habit. Many people, including the elderly or the younger people, are now trained in the past 2 years to use online to search for product and services. That habit has been formed and it's not going to change. Right? So I encourage everybody, look at your websites, make sure that it's optimized by what I taught you today, title tag and meta tag. because people are looking at you from everywhere around your areas. You don't want to lose out on your potential lead and customer opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hey, James, I got a question as well. This is Gary Martinez, and I used to do Yelp, but I stopped. The challenge that I had with Yelp is that the leads that were coming in were not necessarily anywhere close to the leads that we typically look for. You know, the leads that we typically look for are a little bit higher, like manufacturing, warehousing, you know, large industrial type companies. And so the leads that we were getting, you know, what I found is that I kept having to say thank you, but I'm sorry, I can't really help or support. And so I felt like I had to stop using Yelp because of me saying no too much. I felt like I would start getting bad reviews. You know, it's just like, you know, this is probably going to hurt me more than anything else. So any suggestions there?
Yeah, Gary, remind me again, what line of business are you in?
Yeah, a commercial real estate broker, focusing on mainly industrial properties.
Okay, so yours is more of a business to business, okay? Gotta be honest, Yelp is more a little bit for commercial, business to consumer type of business. So
right.
For you, there's one solution to it, which is if you're gonna use Yelp on your Yelp profile, you have to make sure that you especially tell people that you only focus on commercial real estate. And then if you do advertising, you have to tell your advertising agency who's handling your campaign to put a lot of what we call negative keywords. Okay, negative keyword means if somebody's just searching for real estate or buying homes, okay, they don't want to show your ad. Only if people are searching for commercial properties, commercial real estate, then your advertising will show up. Okay, that will help you really focus, narrow down the display of your ad to the right targeted audience.
Right.
Yeah, use negative keyword. That will help. Right. I think previously when you advertise, they were just broadcasting to anybody who is searching for real estate. But I would say 90% of those are not your ideal customer. They're just looking to buy houses.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Just any other questions we have here for James?
Oh,
Yes, I do have one question, James. You mentioned or you referenced a $2,600 budget for one of your clients.
Right.
And I was wondering, is that a monthly basis, or can you share a little bit more about that budget strategy?
That is a monthly basis budget, and then but keep in mind you don't have to spend that much money. You spend what you're comfortable with. Normally, when somebody just started out, we'll tell them budget about at least about $800, $900 a month, okay, to test it out. But those clients, because they're what we call their ticket items is really large. No, each real estate broker, when they close a deal, the commissions is in tens of thousands. So when we calculate the formula, we see, okay, you have to spend this much money in order to generate this much sales for it, and then test it out for 3 months. Okay, but like I said, you could start with as low in Yelp. You could start as low as $300, but that's too low for really to generate much returns on your campaign. Our recommendation is about $800 to $900 in ad budget per month.
And would you say that Yelp is a good source to use for a company such as mine, human resources consulting?
Human resources consulting, again, you're focusing on it's business to business, okay? If you do want to execute this, you have to tell your advertising agency to use negative keyword to narrow it down, okay? You could always ask us or the advertising agency to first pull a search results. And this is usually, they do it for free of charge. They'll let you know how many people are on Yelp searching for human resources consulting. Then from that number, you can determine, should I be advertising in that area? Let's just say there's about 1,000 people searching a month on that keyword in your area. Then that tells you that's your target audience. There is a demand in your area for customer to go after.
Thank you.
No problem. And
So
Gary,
are there
same
any
goes,
more questions?
Gary, same goes for you too. For commercial real estate, if you want, I can have my team just search in your area how many people are searching for that keyword for you. And then you kind of get an idea in your city and a surrounding city, how many people are looking for your services.
Fantastic. Thank you, James.
No problem.
Awesome. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Anything else that we have for anyone? Any questions? All right. So I guess it's my job here to wrap everything up. James, thank you so much for all the information provided. Definitely the Jedi trick that you have. Mitch?
Oh, I've got to actually do the closing here because I want to talk about next month's speaker.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I want to leave
fantastic.
this with everybody because I'm a Jedi. So my master says, "May the force of good marketing be with you."
May the
Thank you,
fourth
James.
be with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, James.